Hi there from Bugeye Guys, and this is a very special car. It happens to be a client's car. It was here for sort of what we'd call a sympathetic restoration, perhaps. It's a car that's been sitting in the garage for maybe a decade. Uncle's car, been sitting and waiting for its chance. Arrived here pretty much unusable in many ways. There was a rat's nest of wires hanging under the dash and lots of issues. There was no ignition switch, and car of course didn't run, but now it runs and drives, and it's so great to drive this car. I just wanted to make a short video and show it to you before it leaves in the hands of the niece and nephew who will enjoy this car this summer here in Connecticut. And what's special to me about this thing is that it is exactly what got us all here in the first place. In the 70s we drove Bugeyes that were crazed like this, and people painted them orange because that's the paint that they had. It was probably a white car, and they put in brown interiors, not because any other reason than maybe J.C. Whitney sold brown. So there it is, and the matching contact paper on the dashboard and on the door panels as well, just to complete the look. I mean, this is a moment in history that no longer exists, and it is here existing and alive again. And that's what's very satisfying for me and for us, is to put this thing back on the road with no apologies for its cosmetics, which have no bearing on what the modern consumer likes to look at in automobiles. This is in fact an early Bugeye, the way they were and the way this one still is, and it's just sort of very refreshing to see one this way with all of its warts and wounds and scratches. It's exactly what many of us really love about old sports cars. How could it be that you would have a car like this and it would exceed your excitement in terms of, compared to these beautiful new machines that we build? Obviously this is not mint, but it's perfect just the way that it isn't, and of course just the way that it is. So a very special Bugeye that's a joy to drive. We put in 3-point seat belts, so there's an inertia reel there, and we of course put in this new ignition switch and a new turn signal switch, and made a wiring harness so that some of those basic functions could happen, and there would be some degree of drivability and safety with new tires, and a multitude of other things under the hood, which I'll show you next. And so under the hood you can see the layers of history. I think this was an Old English white car that was then painted some sort of teal with orange over the top, just to kind of complement all the sandwich of colors. But and a 948 engine that's really, cosmetically not attractive, but we have really put in some cool stuff, like a new restored master cylinder tray, and of course a new master, all new brake lines for safety, and you can see the new brake light switch and new front shocks, and a kind of a wiring harness that will bridge the gap. The client wants to do a bunch more work himself, so we did tidy up the wiring as best we could and make it into a functional machine, and rebuilt the carburetors, all of which make this car really a joy to drive. A new battery and heater valve and hoses, and I'll take you around the other side so you can see. But of course there's still more to do, and the client will do what's left to finish the car, but at least they're out enjoying it and bombing around this summer. A new generator and a new electronic distributor. It has a later solenoid put in, and a new battery, and the proper hold down, and a flasher. Lots of little pieces just to add to the reliability and drivability of this machine. It'll be out there bombing around now, and it is a privilege for us to take this thing, which was buried out of sight, and put it back on the road where people can reminisce back to the moment in time when we used to do this routinely in the world. And it's nice just to be able to contribute to keeping it alive here at Bugeye Guys.